Hello, my name is King Link, and today we're taking a look at Paradox Interactive's Surviving Mars for a preview. This is a preview for the Humble Monthly Bundle, August 2019. To be honest, this is actually a second look at the game, or at least I'm retrying it because there's been a few control issues. Now, even as I played about an hour more of this, like I normally do.
Welcome to Mars.
I got another control
Hints
issue.
such as this
We're
one
gonna have to keep
will
an eye
appear
on that.
throughout the training process,
Now,
giving useful information on how to
we're
advance
going to
in your
start with
current
the
tasks.
tutorial and just kind of work our way through that, and then we will work our way
You
through...
need to master the camera controls and familiarize...
Oh, the main game. Just starting up a game, seeing what happens. So in the tutorial, they're basically teaching us, and essentially what they want us to start with is landing a rocket on the moon, which is pretty easy.
Now it's time to land your first rocket.
We'll just go through each piece. The camera moves, Now we can take a rocket. Yes, select it. We can actually see what's in the rocket, and this will become
designate a landing
you can actually
site on the
create your own
indicated
payloads,
location.
and you have prefabrication buildings and stuff. So you might have a few rockets around Mars, but not everyone is going to be what you want at that moment, because maybe there's people on this rocket, and maybe there's prefab parts in this rocket, and so you're going to want to order it pretty well. To be honest... Oh, here we go. We'll look through the options quickly, I think, here. To be honest, I'm not 100% sold on this game. I don't get the purpose of it. It seems like it's supposed to be very similar to... there we go. 10 autosaves, just because. I actually want to drop the number of souls between autosaves down to like 2. Because 5 souls is a long time. With that said, as I was saying, in a lot of ways, I feel that this is trying to be like a civilization game,
And we have touchdown. The rocket has landed on Mars.
You want to be base management game, let's say, and you're building up your environments and essentially growing the world. And that's fine. That actually works really well. The problem is, for me at least, in my opinion, there's not really a goal. When I play Civ, there is a end goal of winning the game, whether that's through science, conquest, I forget the others, cultural victory or something else, and that becomes your goal. Here, there's a lot of stuff that you can do. You can basically keep growing your base, but I don't know if you can actually win this game.
Our rocket carries valuable resources that will be essential for the construction and maintenance of the colony.
There's a mystery system that I still have to play out and try to figure out how that works. I think that's an end game for it, but I don't know if that's going to be as satisfying as a lot of stuff. We'll talk about that in a bit. Now, what I've already done, I'm sorry I haven't been talking about what's on the screen.
Along with metals, concrete is the other vital basic construction resource.
Concrete. So essentially you need two things. You need metal to create stuff, and I have no idea how that's going to work in the long run. In addition, you also want this concrete so that you're going to build concrete and essentially use that to found new buildings. I really have not played much. I haven't played all the tutorials. I actually need to go back and play them all to understand more. Like I said, I don't understand the mystery parts of this game yet.
Now observe how the drones will carry all the resources to the site.
I'm very novice, but I kind of just wanted to show
extractor.
The early parts of the game, which is the whole point of this series. I probably will replay this tutorial again as well. Yeah. But I will say I do like the fact that they do Steam controller or controller integration, so you aren't forced to use a mouse and keyboard. It actually has a relatively good system for that. Little water machine there. So essentially, we'll see in a minute, but they have to bring all the pieces to this. Now, what they needed to bring is machine parts, which are stored on the ship. Apparently, they came down as a payload. And then I believe it was concrete. And from there, you can actually build the ship. And all that means is a drone stands next to it as it builds up. Yeah. I mean, this is simple.
Like most buildings, the concrete extractor needs power in order to
operate. It really
feels
like an RTS in a lot of
ways.
Having
a reliable electrical grid and supply,
however,
is essential for the success
I think this is an RTS without enemies, or at least, again, maybe the mystery will have enemies. I don't know. But it seems like, for the most part, this is not a combat RTS. This is more a survival RTS. The one thing I have noticed is I haven't had really a struggle. I think it's more money management, so it's kind of a cross between, oh, that's a good example. SimCity, which has like no end, versus a SimCity game with a little bit of a StarCraft vibe, and that you're building on this hostile area. I don't know what to make of this game. I'm really... If it's clear that I don't know what's going on here, that's 100% true, because I understand a lot of pieces. Like, what I just put down was a prefab, and the prefabs are actually shipped down with the rocket. You don't have to build them on site.
And the concrete
Whereas the concrete
using
extractor had to be built on site because we didn't have a prefab.
The extractor.
It's actually an interesting system, and then you can actually run your power cables and everything. There's a lot of curious things. I just wish there was more of a point. I am a fan of SimCity, but I am very much a fan of, City Skylines is another one. They're fun games for about maybe 10 hours, maybe 20. It definitely depends on the game, but eventually you're like, alright, I built a really big city. I guess I could go build another one or do something else of more purpose. In a lot of ways, I feel that surviving Mars has that same
and is best stored at designated locations. This way you can ensure that it will not
up
be in
Mars,
the way
you might
of future
expand out
construction.
to every range of the area that you're in, and then what? A lot of this does feel like you have to... What's weird is I love factorials. So what's essentially happening is the concrete is now pulling up concrete, and then we have to build the concrete depots, because the concrete place does not have a big storage area. I think it's something like 20, probably even less than 20. And then there's a waste rock that also comes up that you also have to dispose of. And to dispose of that, you just put it somewhere, oddly enough. I don't know how that's going to work. Is that going to be a trash, or is that going to be...
Drones will pick pending tasks on their own within the range of the drone controllers they are assigned to.
So this is another piece of it. So there's this idea of drone hubs. You basically have drones. They're your workers, and you don't really control them, but you basically have to have something that controls them. Now, the idea of the game is that that ship there will eventually take off and return to home. Don't know exactly why, because that ship's not taking up a landing space, but maybe you want that space back. Or maybe home will give you something for that. Maybe there's a limited number of ships that they can send. Anyways, so you need to take the controller out of there and put it somewhere else. It also is a recharging station and so on. I don't know. I'm very, like I said, very novice at this game. 30 minutes isn't enough to learn the game, but I also have a feeling once I've learned the entire game, I probably have also played the entire game. So I tried to...
Drones run on batteries that have to be recharged periodically.
So basically, you make recharging stations for drones and so on. It's so far it's interesting like this. Like you're building out this world, but I still haven't figured out enough of it. And there's, sorry about that. Now there is 4 tutorials that I'll eventually work on.
Maintaining a steady supply chain between Earth and Mars is essential. especially during the early colonization
amount of concrete
stages.
that you can pull up. We'll see. So, in this game, they actually have a refueling system and everything. That's not what came with my next game. The next game, but basically, they want to show that you can refuel the rocket and then you can launch it back to Earth. So I'm building moisture evaporators, very similar to your moisture harvesters. What was that one? Very Star Wars there, that we need moisture evaporators. And then, oddly enough, the moisture then becomes fuel, which I think they're just trying to do a hydrogen conversion. It's really amazing that all these places are made with no humans on the planet. We just have a concrete thing that just constantly works. We have a harvesting thing that makes fuel, and that just constantly works. We don't need to worry about all this stuff. In fact, what I probably should reverse that, the fuel price. So what I need to do now is I need to build, yeah, you can see the power is connecting everything. Now we need pipes to pipe it all together.
We don't have sufficient power for all the buildings in the colony.
Oh, right. On my later game, I actually started building wind, solar, and more. So
a system of pipes is used to deliver resources
and I
such
believe
as water and
a
air
goal of the game,
where they
or
are
part
needed.
of the game, is to start putting humans on Mars, and that involves creating domes, which take a lot more power as well. There we go, pipes. There's actually research components as well. There's a lot more to this game. This is really the bare bones building. Much of these buildings can't be built from scratch. You need to actually learn.
Fuel production is now
Understand
underway,
the tech.
and the
You have to
drones will
work with
begin to
the,
deliver the fuel to the rocket.
Environment, scanning out farther. I mean, there is a ton more to this game than this tutorial is showing. We'll see that in a few minutes. It is interesting. So basically, we're taking water, we're bringing it to the fuel, and the fuel is going to create fuel. We'll see how that goes. And essentially now we're just waiting. The ship, right now, as I said, the ship is going to take a lot less fuel than normal. We only need 5 units instead of... They say 50. In my game that I was playing, it's only 30. I think that's due to what I use. And we'll talk about modifiers to all this stuff in a minute. And this is kind of a big part of the game. There's a decent amount of waiting from what I've seen. Waiting until something happens. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of some more to say. I'm kind of giving away the second half of this video, but essentially, this is the game. You basically sit around, wait for stuff to accumulate, and then eventually do stuff with it. Now, the problem is, without major goals, that's the one thing that I feel is missing in this game, in that...
Congratulations. You have
as far as I
finished the
understand
first
it, the
tutorial.
goal of the game is to get bigger, larger, louder, and then eventually, like I keep saying these mysteries, I think this is what people build towards. But you don't even know what the mystery is yet. So let's take a quick look at the challenge mode before we go into the other stuff. You do have the ability to take a landing spot. I think they've taken a real look at the Mars, what could be out there. And then there's all these challenges. Mini challenges like complete the founding stage or, get 2,000 people on Mars and so on. Yeah. This is the main game, and we're actually going to look at a bunch of these. I actually spent a decent amount of time looking through these, but basically as you start the game, you can choose any mission sponsor. Oh, wait. Yeah, new game. Sorry. When you go into the new game, you can choose any mission sponsor, and what that means is essentially there's all different groups. They each have different perks and negatives. Some of them have what they call detractors, and essentially that means it's going to be slightly harder to beat. Drawback is what they call it. So Russia takes longer to get there, and so on. There's even Space Y. I wonder who that's based on. Now, with all that said, I mean, each one seems to be different difficulties. As you go down the list, it's going to get harder and harder. As much as I wanted to go USA, I went with the International Mars mission because that seems like it's going to be the easiest. That's the name. Very easy for difficulty. And from what I've seen, yeah, it is pretty easy. The self-sufficient pod is extremely powerful from what I've seen. Or dome. Extremely powerful from what I've seen. See what the rocket scientist said. I think it said starts with the next rocket. That might be why it was so. Yeah, you get an extra rocket. Interesting. That could also be why you need to send it back, so that it can actually return home and be reused. This is actually nice. You can choose your own logo. I just went through them all. And went with Don't Panic because I'm a huge Scott Adams fan. So this is the mystery, and the idea here is that something is going to happen. They don't even say what's going to happen, it's just... This is, I think, the endgame goal. This is the... Eventually something here will happen. As I'm a fan of... There's Isaac Asimov. I almost went with that one, but I don't know. I mean, I don't understand this. This seems like it's very much endgame. From what I've looked up very quickly online, you need like about 100 people on Mars, which is not an easy feat. I basically, in my hour of playing, I got about 20 people on Mars, and that's because I essentially called them, and I don't know if they're going to survive. And then finally payloads. So this is, each rocket that is sent from Earth to Mars actually has a payload, and you can actually pay for stuff on Earth, and then you can actually also, get the orbital probes. Now I have 4 orbital probes that instantly scan the area, or the RC commander, which commands RC units, and so on. You have to think in a lot of ways about fuel costs, because every rocket you send to Mars eventually will have to be returned, so you want to make sure you're making a decent thing. And here I'm going to play with it. There is a huge map here, it sounds like. I think you just basically get your local area. This is just a randomization pattern, but it's actually a really interesting way to develop this. I actually thought it was kind of cool. And then they actually have some major areas, notable areas. I assume those are places already named on Mars. Who knows? Maybe we can go to where the Mars rover is. That'd be actually cool. Where's the Mars rover right now? It's probably in one location that's never moved because it doesn't range that far like that. Or maybe it goes all the way around the globe. Who knows? Close. So this is now my personal map that I will use. As you can see, it's decently sized, but you'll definitely stick around the opening area, at least to start. You need to gather your resources there. And I had no idea where to land. So this becomes a thing that I keep trying to hunt down. Now there's an analysis point there. Essentially, you take this guy, you scan the anomaly. Right now, I have the wrong thing. Well, I have the right thing highlighted, but I actually incorrectly chose what I was looking at. So I'm gonna start futzing around with this RC commander, which I believe just controls drones. And those are the workers again. And I still can't figure out how to make this thing work. Unfortunately, this goes on for it. Oh, King Link, what have you done here? Made the most compelling video of trying to click on something that you can't click on. So, the initial load that I came down with was, I believe, 2 RC controllers, an RC transport, and an RC, I forget the name off the top of my head, an RC unit, and we're going to play with those in a little bit. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll fail. The first thing you need, as the demo taught me, was you need a metal depot just to gather all those items. And unlike the demo where it seemed like you don't get that much metal, I was able to fill up at least one of those metal depots, so it doesn't seem like you're constantly having to hunt for those. And I get the feeling that that is positioned so that you can cover part of it and then put down a second one. Like, I have a feeling you can't hit the same area, but that field was big enough that you could easily have covered it with 2 or 3 concrete extractors if you really wanted to. So
milestone
there's a lot here.
Sector scanned. Anomaly found.
There we go. And so now I'm using my orbital probes just to scan more and more of the world, so we can see a little more of the map. We have milestones, which actually give you different feats. Here's the research screen that you basically, as you research stuff, you'll unlock different buildings that you can create and so on. And this is the update to the game, so it just popped up. So yeah, as you hit a milestone, you basically get research bonuses for that. Same thing happens with this anomaly. Come on, dude. I think that I'll realize it soon. It's the RC commander. It commands the RCs. I imagine that this is useful for long distance RCs. So, like, right now I'm over in the metal area, and I think a big piece of this is that you have to be in range of a drone controller. controller. The issue here, though, is that eventually you're going to want to go away from your main drone controller and all, and I believe the RC Commander is the way. You basically drive him to where you want it to do some work, whatever that work may or may not be. God, I spent so long on this, I feel bad. There it is, RC Explorer. Go get the RC Explorer. If you see in the bottom, you actually can, your big ships are all laid out. So you can basically say, do this, do this, and this. There we go, RC Explorer, scan the anomaly, and then we'll get some free science out of that. I mean, I'd love to have a huge discussion about this game, but the fact is, as I understand Surviving Mars, this is essentially a game. It's a very slow, plotting, SimCity-esque or City Skyline-esque or even Civilization-esque game where you're just slowly building up, and you have to get your concrete. You have to go get your waste products out of the shop. Then you can start building energy systems, and then from there you can actually build a self-sustaining pod, and the self-sustaining pod can then have humans in it, and they can survive, and so on, up the chain. We have here a water hole, so we're going to use a, what is that? I'm slightly farther than I am away from the TV, so I can't read a water extractor. You can essentially keep building these things and figuring out what resources your city needs. Yeah, I mean that is essentially Surviving Mars from my understanding. The question is, how much legs does it have? If you absolutely love SimCity, if you absolutely love City Skylines, there's nothing wrong here. This is not a bad game in any way. For me, though, I kind of want a little more. I kind of want a little deeper system, or at least, not necessarily a guided system, but at least some goals to kind of reach for. I really liked what they did with 2 Point Hospital, though they should have definitely, Sandbox I think is in there, but it's just not the same. This is more just Sandbox, and the challenge system is over on the side, but it's more just do the same thing for a longer period of time. Or a shorter period of time, rather. I don't know. I get the game, though. I definitely understand what's going on, but it's just, I don't know if it's for me. I want to go shoot Nazis. I'm working on Wolfenstein, that's why I say that.
Research
and so this guy's going to
complete.
scan that until he's finally done.
Milestone
there we go.
achieved.
You hit the anomaly, you basically got a huge bonus to your research for the anomaly, for the scan, and then for that milestone. And even that milestone list looks very short. I mean, a lot of those are not going to be done for a very long time, but I would have loved to see more milestones. I don't even understand like the stage system that they have up, because eventually we're going to enter the founder stage, and what does that mean? I know these are all questions that are almost definitely answered in the tutorials, but this is what happens when you don't play the tutorials. Like a gangster. No tutorials for me, sir. If you see in the upper left, you have the buildings not working, so basically, if you do have a problem with your system, there's at least icons. I don't think by clicking it, you get the full... You need power here, but it at least gives you an idea that you need to fix issues with your buildings. And I think we'll leave it there. Now, to be honest, I don't have much more to say about this game. Unlike Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is just packed with content, Surviving Mars is a little bit slower. It's a base building game similar to Two Point Hospital, SimCity. I've already mentioned all these games, but essentially, it's a slower, more methodical game. If it's interesting, cool, it's in the Humble Monthly Bundle for August 2019. If it's not August yet, you can probably still pick it up. Otherwise, if you want to hear my final thoughts on this game, my review, or the review to Kingdom Come Deliverance, or anything else, if you love my voice, I appreciate it, consider subscribing. Also, do all those YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, all those things that YouTube always loves. I appreciate any of those. Until next time, though, I'm King Link, and thank you very much for watching.